Our own planet is only a tiny part of the vast cosmic tapestry, a starry fabric of worlds yet untold.
For the next 90 minutes, your mind shall become engaged with minds that are very much like your own. Join Paul Kegel, Sushi, and Springwolf as they discuss various topics and people that we all have questions about. You're taking part in the Enigma Project.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Enigma Project. My name is Paul Kegel, and tonight we will finally be talking about astral travel, out-of-body and near-death experiences, and playing Truth or Tale. But first I would like to introduce my cohorts in this madness, Springwolf.
Hello.
And Sushi.
Hey-ya.
How you guys doing?
I'm on vacation, man.
Must
Are
be
you
nice.
really?
I am. It's a staycation. I'm going to paint. I
So
went to the
she-
hardware store
So
today.
basically she's going to stay home and get high is what she's saying.
Yeah, on a ladder.
I was at least going to ask, are you painting the house or are you painting like a painting?
Oh, no, the house, yeah.
A painting, yeah.
I have
The
no,
boring kind.
No, the boring kind. Although I enjoy it, actually. It's kind of therapeutic. You know, you making your world a little brighter.
That sounds
Ew.
Ew.
I don't like this positive Sushi. I want that meh Sushi back. I can't handle the let's make everything brighter girl that I'm talking
Yeah.
to right now. Woman, I should say.
Who's that?
You've been
It's
replaced.
because I'm on vacation, Paul.
Oh,
The
that's
stress,
right.
The
Yeah.
stress is gone.
Right. But let's see if we can add that back with the show. So
Oh, they're helping, Tater. They're helping.
yeah.
They
But
just can't reach the ceiling.
I want to remind everyone to check out our blog at enigmaproject.com, and you can send us questions or comments from there, see what we have coming up. You can subscribe to our calendar, which I've not been really good about updating because I've been busy writing, so I'll see about getting that done. And you can also send questions or comments to Paul at enigmaproject.com or call the hotline at 423-521-2930. And don't forget to check out Spring's blog at springwolf.net. And please help spread the word about the show. Next week's show is going to be on the Legends of Stull Cemetery. And this was a topic that Spring sent and I found interesting. So we're going to talk about that and whether or not they're real, could be real, might be real, should never have been mentioned. And go from there. But if you missed last week's show, we did our July Freeform show, and that turned out really well. And you can find that on Stitcher, our website. I always forget, Spreaker, obviously, and iTunes. I always forget at least one of them when I'm trying to. I should write it down so I can read it like I do everything else. But if you're listening live right now and want to join in this madness, then go to enigmaproject.com/listen-live. And of course, that's if the show is actually live at the time that. I mean, you can still go there, but nobody will be there to chat with you in the chat room. So, right.
Right.
So, this topic came up because I have been interested in astral travel for quite some time, and I think that a lot of people are kind of interested in this, but I don't think that people know exactly what it is, or how to do it or whatever. But just as a definition, astral projection or astral travel is a term used in esotericism to describe a willful out-of-body experience, a supposed form of telepathy that assumes the existence of a solar consciousness called an astral body that is separate from the physical body and capable of traveling outside it and throughout, and then it stops right there, throughout the universe, where it interacts with other astral bodies and is capable of implanting ideas into other people's minds. Now that I've never really thought about, but it's kind of like the internet if you stop and think about it. But for your brain, it's like you kind of put yourself out there. Now, I want to tell a quick story before we start fully into this topic. When I was a teenager, I decided that I wanted to try astral projection. And so I laid down in my bed, I meditated, I relaxed, I drew all the energy in my body into the center of my chest and threw it out to the universe. That was not a wise decision because it made me very weak and very nauseous because I wasn't pushing my astral body out. I was throwing all my personal energy out. And I could not get up off the bed by myself. I had to crawl to the door to get outside when I had to go to the bathroom. And so don't do that. If you're going to try astral travel, then study up on it and make sure you know what you're doing. So, Spring, what is your definition of astral projection or astral travel?
Well, from a metaphysical point of view, it doesn't exactly...
You're very low.
Wait a minute. I was eating my French fries.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, the metaphysical definition of those three things don't exactly gel exactly with what you read from the esoteric point of view.
Right.
From a metaphysical point of view, they are three different forms of travel. One of them is willed travel. You can make it happen. The other two, you can't. You can't influence. So an out-of-body experience is something that happens to you when your mind goes into... All right. They're connected with the divisions of your mind, what state of awareness your mind it is. Right now, we are in an alpha state of awareness. We're conscious. We know what we're saying. We know what we're doing.
Right.
Some of us.
Yeah. Okay, then there's the beta and the theta. The beta is what you can get into when you go into meditation. And then there's two levels of meditation. Deep meditation, some people say you can get into a theta state. Theta is a really deep, almost a trance-like level of consciousness. Okay, so when you are sort of in a mild, mid-level meditation, we'll call it, you can actually will your spiritual consciousness out into the ethereal world. So that's astral projection. That's why it's called astral projection, because you're going out into the astral travel, astral projection, they call it, the astral world.
And people believe that the astral field is a field of energy that your consciousness can travel through.
Right. Now, people that say they've done astral travel say that when they have left their body, they have seen a silver cord that they know is attached to their astral consciousness, and they can see that silver cord going from what they're seeing, what they're thinking, that conscious place, back to the physical body. And that silver cord is as long as you need it to be. If you want to go to the moon, that's how far the cord is going to be. You can travel anywhere at any time, because on the ethereal realm there is no such thing as time like we know it here on Earth. There's no linear time. There's just now. And now exists everywhere at every moment. So you can see into the past, you can see into the future, you can see 1,000,000 years ago and watch, some star blow up, go supernova. You're only limited by your fear. So if you're afraid that if you go to the moon you can't get back, You're
Right.
not going to the moon.
So,
That kind of thing.
so Sushi, what is, if you have one, your definition of astral travel?
Well, as I understand it, not that I believe it,
Of course.
it's
There's the negative Sushi I love. Sorry.
There she is. Where were you?
There's that bitch. Keep talking.
DEAD inside.
She's dead inside.
I've heard of the cord,
Right.
that Spring was talking about. I have actually tried this
Really?
as a teenager.
Well, yeah, as a teenager.
Little experiment, as teenagers you experiment. You never could do it. I don't think I did it. And
You don't think you
like
did
if you
it?
cut the cord, you're never finding your way back
Yeah,
to your
you get
body.
lost.
And but so like astral projection, I think of as finding your consciousness or your soul leaves your body to go wandering around and having a little walkabout. Out of body experiences, I actually have a story of a mentor of mine in college told me her out of body experience, or no, not a near death. It was definitely out of body. She was in a car wreck, but she told of a story. She rolled the car. A car rolled like three times, and she is strapped in her seatbelt. And yet, as the wreck was happening, she is standing straight or sitting straight, and the car is revolving around her. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Like she is staying perfectly vertical.
She's not moving, but the car is
She's not
flipping.
moving, and as she's looking straight ahead, and the car is rolling. The world is rolling around her.
Wow.
So, yeah. So she told me that story, and I really respected that woman.
Probably a safety mechanism. And one thing I wanted to say is, I think to me, and this may be the actual definition, I don't know, but to me, astral travel is traveling into the astral realm where there are things outside of the everyday that we see around us. Out of body experience is stepping outside of your body in a spiritual, into a spiritual body and traveling on this plane of existence. So it's like, to me, it's two different planes.
Yeah, see, I've always my definitions or what I had learned great. It was always in this plane. There was never. I don't remember ever talking to anyone about traveling to another universe or to it was just like, hey, I astral projected over to Lookout Mountain. And I was bouncing around, or somebody would tell me these stories, and people who I didn't respect. So
yeah.
Well, so yeah, so that's why I found that really fascinating. Spring is talking about traveling, to the moon or to the
moon
to watch a star explode.
Yeah. Well, from the metaphysical point of view, when you astral project, you are moving your conscious mind into a different state of, I don't want to say being because it's who you are, but you're moving the conscious mind into a state that allows you to realize you have energy within you, and that and the physical body are connected, but they're not the same thing. People think that your conscious mind is the same thing as your physical body sometimes, and they're not.
Right.
From a metaphysical point of view, an out-of-body experience happens to you every night when you go into REM sleep.
And I've been told that before.
It's not willed travel. It's something that your soul does, and it does it every night. It travels onto the ethereal realm at a much higher plane of existence, is what I want to say, but it's not quite accurate. It moves into a realm where there is deeper knowledge, a deeper understanding. I mean, this is your soul that's going on a little trip while your physical body is asleep. And it does this for a couple of reasons. It does this to go and review the lessons that you learned that day, how many of the things that happened to you support the lessons that you're here to learn, or repay or redeem karma. Every night in REM sleep is your chance to check in with how you're doing on your spiritual blueprint that you brought with you when you were incarnated here.
I can already tell you that crappy.
Yeah. So you can keep track of where you are on your blueprint. You know, how much farther do you got to go to build the house and move in, you know, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then a near-death experience, you have to die.
Right. Or almost die. Or die and come back.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, when I first started studying all this stuff, I had a friend that said, you know, they could do, several friends that said they could do it. And so I tried it, and I found my mind wandering, and you know, I'm a Pisces. I can daydream at the drop of a hat. And I said, you know, when I do this, I just find myself daydreaming. They said, oh, you're doing it. You're doing it. And I was like, I think that's daydreaming. I don't think that's astrally traveling. But I did have a friend that came to help me with it. And while we were meditating, like, I would reach into the astral realm in my daydream, whatever it was, and I would poke her, and she would jump and go, "Ooh, something just poked me." And I was like, wow, I didn't tell her I did that. It was just a test. And then I would say, "What do you see now?" And I would picture like a big green dragon. She'd say, a big green dragon. And so I don't know if we were actually on the astral realm or if we were actually just mentally connected.
All depends on how you felt. If you felt like you were floating around. Usually when you're doing an astral projection thing, you can see your physical body. You can see the things that are in the room. But typically, you see them from a perspective of the ceiling of the room. That's the very first thing that happens, the very first time you start to astral project, because you move up. I don't know why everybody wants to move up, but that's what we do. We move up. And then you're looking down on everything. Maybe because the energy is so light, it's not being, kept down by gravity in the physical body. But when you're astral projecting, you can feel it. Now, I'll give you an example, a couple of steps on how you can do it. But one of the best ways, I think, is...
Well, I want to say real quick that we do not condone here on the Enigma Project people going out doing stupid stuff like, throwing themselves out on the astral realm without knowing what they're doing or anything else. If you're going to do this, then use caution. I personally don't think you can truly get yourself into anything you can't get out of there. But there are people who can freak themselves out doing this, so please be careful if you decide to do it.
I would add to that, I don't think you can do it if you don't really understand what you're doing.
Right.
I think
but you can still freak yourself out.
Yeah, there's too many checks and balances. And if you've got even the smallest amount of fear on doing this, you're not going to do it. You've got to have total trust in yourself and forget about all of those horror movies that make crap up.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of all that.
Right. To be a horror movie, I mean, nothing, absolutely nothing have I seen in TV or in movies even comes close to what real astral projection is. There's a lady named Shakti Gawain. I love her work. I love all of her books. I love all of her tapes. She's got some great audio tapes for meditation. Well, she has one called Astral Projection, where she will take you into meditation through a visualization and try to lead you through visualizing yourself getting into a state of astral projection. It's a great tape. It's the one that I used to learn how to do this.
Okay.
She's really good. Okay. Shirley MacLaine also has one. I didn't listen to hers as much. I like Shakti's better, though. Okay. So basically what you're going to do is you lay down somewhere comfortable, but somewhere where you're not going to be so comfortable that you're falling asleep. So this isn't something you want to do when you're in bed. You're going to fall asleep and have a dream and then think you did something that you didn't do. So you want to be like on what you might imagine a psychologist's couch is. Okay.
Oh, I know quite a few people that need to be on what is called a psychologist's couch, and some of them may or may not be on this show. I'm talking about me.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so then you want to go into a meditation. So if you don't meditate, you're going to have to start and learn how to do that first. You can't just sit down for the first time and meditate and astral project at the same time. If you can, you're unique. Okay,
Yeah.
so you need to learn how to meditate first.
I am
All right,
unique.
so you go into a meditation, spend a week trying to find your spiritual sanctuary. That's your place in the spiritual realm where you feel comfortable. Nobody can get to you. Nothing can hurt you. It is your safe place.
Your astral temple.
Right. It's where you keep all your Akashic records, which are the records of your past lives, past knowledge, past everything. You know, it's your spiritual sanctuary is a very special place, and it's yours and only yours. And if anybody wants to come and visit you, you have to invite them and bring them in. So it's your safe place. Now, when you've done all of that work, now you're ready to go to your spiritual sanctuary and imagine yourself laying down and meditating so that you can leave your body. So you're going to, in your head, you're in your spiritual sanctuary, you're going to see your soul sit up, then stand up, and then float to the ceiling of whatever room you're in. On your first time, that's your goal, is to get to the ceiling. It might take a couple times, but what happens physically is you feel like your body gets lifted. You feel lighter. You don't feel like you're laying. You almost feel like you've stepped in what you might imagine a non-gravity environment to be. It's
cool.
really a interesting physical feeling. And when you feel like you're on the ceiling looking down at your physical body,
You start dancing,
you know
dancing
you've
on
done
the
it.
ceiling.
Yeah, you know you've done it.
Cool.
Then after that, you know, you keep practicing a couple times, and after that, you can go anywhere you want. Set up something with a friend. I'm going to come and visit you at such and such a time or after such and such an hour, and I'm going to try to find out what you're doing. So don't be having sex or taking a shower.
Please, dear God.
There you go. Be respectful.
Now,
you know.
my sister does that with lucid dreaming. She will text me and say, "Hey, I was lucid dreaming last night. You were there. What's the first thing that comes in your mind?" And then we'll try to see if I remember anything or we connected on that level. And I think that's interesting that she tries that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as, like, what to you is the difference between astral travel and out-of-body experiences?
Well, I think on out-of-body experiences, I don't know that we consciously remember those experiences. You know, we physically, wait a minute, I can't remember that guy's name. There was a doctor of psychology. It might have been Raymond Moody, but I'm not sure. Wrote a book about meditation and near-death experiences. And in one of his chapters, he talks about when you go into REM sleep, he set up some kind of a camera that captures the soul of the body rising up out of the physical body, and it hangs over the physical body during sleep. If somebody is in a coma or something like that, you can see the two bodies one sitting over top of the other.
Interesting.
And he said the only thing he hasn't been able to do is measure the energy changes between the physical body when that soul body rises up. But he says during REM sleep is when your physical body regenerates certain I forget what they're called. Not vitamins, but things that your body needs to go through the next day on a physical level.
Right.
So only in REM sleep do those things get created. And he said when he tries to measure it or he tries to do something in measuring the brain activity, in REM states, our brain activity increases as if we're actually talking to people, looking around. That's one of the things he says the rapid eye movement is that our soul has moved out of the body and is actually seeing things on the astral or the ethereal realm. So we're out there, you know, shaking hands with, you know, other members of the family. Hi, how you doing? Nice to see you. thought about you today, screwed up the lesson in the karma I owed you, sorry about that. You know, we're actually doing things.
No wonder I'm so tired.
What?
No wonder I'm so tired after sleep.
Yeah. I hear you. I don't remember what question you asked me. Did I answer it?
Well, I was asking what you thought the difference between out of body and astral travel was.
I want to ask you something, Spring, because you said something earlier that kind of took me aback, and you said that out of body experiences are something that you can't remember, and I'm like, well, but people remember. I mean, like the example that I gave earlier with my mentor, she remembered it. So
that may have been a near death.
Maybe.
Or I think
and I think of people in the hospital who were dead, and they felt themselves floating, and they turned around and looked down and saw their body.
Well, I think that maybe what happened too was she was afraid for her own life, and so a part of her stepped outside and remained in the spiritual body, so that she didn't feel that fear of her physical body being thrown around. Yeah. Maybe. Mm-hmm. So
but I'd always considered that an out of body experience. So That's interesting. I'd never drawn that.
And to me, like I said, I think there's a difference. I think the astral
Oh
field,
my God! If you don't remember it, did you experience it?
Well, we're talking about different levels of consciousness, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you've got your conscious mind, the one that you use to reason and make choices and get through the day on a physical level. Your conscious mind. You have a soul mind, which tries to deal with the things that your soul is here to work on, and the karma, the choices, those kinds of things. You have your higher spiritual consciousness. If I want to know something when I go into meditation, I'm trying to connect with that higher spiritual mind. And then you have the God mind, what connects you to universal consciousness. We're all part of God.
What if you've lost your mind?
You might be able to go and find it.
Yeah.
Or you never had it to begin with.
That's very possible. So another story I wanted to share was, again, when I was studying and searching, I went to a psychic fair, and one of the psychics there stopped me, and he just put his hand out on me and stopped me. He said, "You don't remember your dreams, do you?" And I said, "No, I don't." He said, "That's because you were traveling. Excuse me, you were, I don't remember if he said astrally projecting or not, but he said, you are projecting yourself out of your body to protect yourself from something. And that's why you don't remember your dreams." And then he went back to what he was doing. And so a couple of nights later, I was staying at a friend's house, and she and I were sleeping in the same room. And she said, I got up, got up out of bed, walked through the door and out of the area, and she looked down and I was still asleep. And so she was like, "I saw you astrally projecting." I'm like, either that or you were still asleep and you thought you saw me because we'd been talking about it earlier. So I don't know.
Okay, I found my notes. I can tell you this much better this way. You have 4 levels of consciousness. The conscious self, which is your physical mind, the higher consciousness, which is your soul mind, the super consciousness, which is your spirit mind, the divine consciousness, which is your connection to the universal consciousness of everything, the all, the everything. So when we're traveling on an astral projection kind of a level, we're talking about the higher consciousness, the soul mind. When you're having an out-of-body experience, you're talking about the superconscious self, the spirit mind. When you have a near-death experience, it could be the spirit mind or your connection to the divine, because there's a lot of people say they go into the light and they see their dead relatives who tell them that they're not here, they're not ready to be here, and they need to go back. So there are some metaphysical people who believe that you're actually taking your spirit mind and your universal connection, or your universal God mind, and those two are coming together to rise you up to the highest level of spiritual existence that there is.
Oh, girl, I'm already there. So,
I was going to say something funny, but then I stopped myself because I decided it was too crude.
Really? You can type in the chat room or in Skype.
There you go.
What was I going to say? So we're talking about. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say. There's no telling what it was. But so Spring, I know you've astrally traveled and had out of body maybe experiences. Sushi, have you ever done anything you considered to be astral projection or out of body?
No, I've tried.
Did anything happen?
No, I don't think so. I would usually fall asleep before anything happened.
Now, see, I never accidentally fall asleep, ever. I have to lay down and consciously decide to go to sleep, or I don't go to sleep. I mean, I'm sure I would eventually.
I pass out in the movie theaters.
No, not me, never. If I do something like that, take me to the ER, because that means something's wrong with me. But I don't do stuff like that. It's just part of who I am. But I have been told that I am a natural ground, that people can throw energy at me and that I can ground it. And I think that's part of the reason why I have such problems with astral travel and out-of-body experiences and with lucid dreaming and stuff like that, is because I am a natural ground and I take energy and ground it. And somebody explained to me, they were like, "Oh, you're a Pisces, so you've got water as your sign. Water is a grounding energy for some energies." And I'd never thought of it that way before. So I wonder if that's what keeps me from being able to do these spiritual things, is because of my grounding. It keeps me rooted here and now and won't let me go anywhere else. And was that purposefully done by God to keep me out of trouble or from having to deal with me when I go traveling around the universe and messing with things I shouldn't be? But one thing that I did want to ask is lucid dreaming. Do you think that lucid dreaming is a conscious form of astral travel or out-of-body experiences?
I don't think it has anything to do with traveling.
You don't think so?
I think when we dream, again, it depends on what level of consciousness you're in. You're awake, alpha, beta, theta. It depends on which level of consciousness you're in, what your dreams are trying to tell you. There are some dreams that you can get into that are all spiritual based, trying to take information from your nightly travel. Your out-of-body experience is trying to take information from there and bring it back to your conscious mind to try to tell you where you are, instead of just bringing it back to your soul mind and hoping you figure it out, kind of a thing. You actually influence yourself by the things that you think. We try to give ourselves messages, and you get the gut feelings that say, "I'm going to lose my job," or "Something's going to happen and I'm going to get laid off." And you're going to you try to warn yourself, right? You try to give yourself information to prepare you so you can avoid things that are going to happen to you on a physical level. I think there is some communication that goes there. When we have dreams, it depends on what level of consciousness we're in. Are we just dreaming something because we're not in that deep of a state of consciousness? Or are we dreaming something and we're allowing the horror movie that we saw earlier that night to influence our dreams, and so we're scared? So I think when we have a lucid dream, you realize you're dreaming and you try to go into that dream and fix it so you can you can attack the things that scare you.
Well,
They manifest in your dream to try to tell you you're afraid.
When I lucid dream, I'm not always, there's not something that has scared me, and I'm not trying to escape from anything. I just realize suddenly that I'm dreaming, and I can change things around me.
Well, I didn't mean that everything that we dream that's scary is, or have a nightmare, you can lucid dream into and fix. It's just you realize that you're dreaming, and you can go into that dream on a little bit more of a conscious level and change things.
So in the chat room, Evil said, I don't want my dreams waking me up at 3 a.m. to tell me things. Write it down. Send me an email.
There you go.
So, Sushi, what do you think about...
Evil in the chat room is very good at lucid dreaming.
Really?
I'm not good at it.
I'm not either. I've done it like 5 times in my whole life.
Yeah. Well, he's very good at it. It's annoying.
I love it when it happens.
Yeah.
I love my flying dreams.
Yep.
I love to be able to control it, and because that's what happens when I realize I'm dreaming. I'm going flying.
Me too. That's usually what I do.
And I would say it probably happens to me maybe once a year.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, not something conscious, that I try to do. It's just it just happens, and I wake up in a dream, and I say, "Oh, I'm dreaming. Excellent. Let's go do something."
I wonder if we go flying together.
Yeah.
And Evil in the chat room said, but it means you don't actually sleep when you're lucid dreaming. To remember the dream, you have to wake up, and that's true. When you're lucid dreaming, you're only half awake and half asleep. You're not getting a full night's sleep, and that's why people can't lucid dream constantly all night long all the time.
Oh, because they're not getting that.
Right, because you're not getting the REM
rest,
sleep and all that you need. But, Sushi, what do you think about lucid dreaming being a form of astral or out-of-body travel?
Oh no, I don't think it is at all. I think it's our neurons just firing in our little heads, and somehow we get control of them.
Yeah, like a daydream, but more real. So,
I do a lot of that too.
So me too. But one thing that I wanted to ask is, what if what we're seeing in the paranormal field with capturing ghosts and images and voices is actually people having out-of-body experiences?
Fascinating.
What do you think, Spring?
I want to say no, only because I think when we do an out-of-body experience, we're on a different... I believe that we have different planes of existence. And I think those ghosts that are... that don't know they're dead, or they don't know how to move on, they're on the lowest plane of existence, and that's here in the physical world. I think the ghosts that we see or that you capture on EVPs and all that stuff, that's down here at the lowest level.
Right.
And I think when we have an astral projection or an OBE, we're actually going to a different astral plane, on a different ethereal realm. So I don't think so.
One of the things that I wanted to cover on this, and I think you guys will find this interesting, is I looked up some common facts that near-death experience, people who have experienced near-death have said that they have, and they have shared it and compiled a list. But near-death, when someone almost dies or they do die and they leave and come back, is different, I think, than astral travel or, different than astral travel. It is an out-of-body experience because you've died and your spirit is leaving your body, but for whatever reason comes back. I don't know that it necessarily goes on the astral. It could be something that you pass through, but I wanted to read some of these. But it says an analysis of 21 common aspects, and one says overwhelming love. The highest percentage of experiences that reported overwhelming love was in those categorized as Christians, 75%, and atheists, 75%. So 75% of atheists and 75% of Christians experience overwhelming love when they have a near-death experience. And I think that's interesting. And then it says, in contrast, the lowest occurrence aspect is the 0% of experiences involving the devil or Satan. So it's like none of these people are experiencing devil or the devil or Satan when they have near-death experiences. Another one is mental telepathy, and it occurred in 80% in the New Age category, and the lowest was 50% in Christians. And I think that's interesting. Life review, the highest percentage of experiences during which a life review occurred were reported by those in the atheists' 100% category. The lowest were those in New Age 40 and non-religious 40%. And it doesn't really say about Christians. I think that's interesting, your life flashing before your eyes. But 100% in atheists. That's interesting. I wonder why. God.
That's all we got, man.
Yeah. God, the category, the highest percentage of near-death experiencers who reported seeing a divine being are those in the New Age category, 80%. And the lowest is the non-religious, 27%. So I think that's interesting. Tremendous ecstasy, New Age, 100%. Unlimited knowledge. And this is something I've always believed. I think that when you die, all this knowledge becomes known to you. And it was in atheists, 63%. And those in non-religious, 33%. So what is it with these atheists getting more than us when they die?
What kind of knowledge, though?
It doesn't. Let's see. The common aspect of experiencing unlimited knowledge may be higher. Just saying unlimited knowledge. So I guess knowledge and everything. Afterlife levels. The category with the highest percentage being New Age, 80%, and the lowest being atheists at 25%. Can you imagine being an atheist and either experiencing God or an afterlife? People that are told they're not ready, non-religious 67%, and atheists 13%. And it doesn't really mention Christians in some of these things, but seeing the future, 60% New Age, non-Christian 25%. Generally, Christians believe such things to be of the devil, seeing the future. So that's what it says. A tunnel, 80% New Age. I was just going through these. Jesus, the category with the highest percentage of near-death experiences seeing Jesus, were in the Christians. Surprise, surprise, 81%. And those in non-religious, 0. The atheist category was 50%. Interesting. Forgotten knowledge, fear, homecoming, told of past lives, hell, city of light, temple of knowledge, spirits among the living, suicide, and the devil are the rest that it say, but the devil is 0%.
A couple of years after Evil and I got together, he, I think he was out on a job or something, or I'm not sure where he was, but he wasn't here, and he got sick, real sick. And he had a huge fever and went to bed, and, he just wanted to go to sleep. And he had what, in his perspective, was a near-death experience. And he met my dad, and my dad told him it wasn't time for him to be there, and he needed to go back. And while he was there, he sort of felt like all of this knowledge came into him, and he got pissed that when he was told it's not time for him, he couldn't bring that knowledge back with him.
That would be frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially for somebody as smart as he is.
Right. That's something that I've always believed, is that once someone passes on, that they gain, like, maybe not unlimited knowledge, but knowledge to the universe.
Yeah, like, different understanding.
Yeah, they, like, all this things that they didn't know in life come rushing to them, and they are aware of it, and they know it. But yeah, that would be frustrating, not being able to bring that back with you.
Evil said, an atheist seeing Jesus. Dude, I can explain all that porn.
Jesus is like, I know you can. I was watching you. Yeah.
I think it's funny.
So, this is a category that I find interesting because I would love to astral travel and out of body experience and be able to control it and lucid dream, but there's a part of me that feels that I'm too anchored to the physical realm to do those things, and I don't know if it's something I'm doing to myself or if it's something that's just the way my energy is made.
Well, let's change the topic just for a second.
Okay.
I can't stand it when people tell you you're this or that or the other.
Right.
Because if it's not true and you get it in your head, from now on, you have influenced yourself on the
Right.
choices that you make and the things that you do. So somebody sees you and says that you're too grounded. Now, whether it's true or not, just by your conversation, you believe that you're grounded, or you at least question it. So you've opened the door for it to be a reality or to manifest in your life. And because of that, you're not sure you can astral project because you're too grounded.
Right. Well, back when it happened, it wasn't one person that told me I was a natural ground. There were several that told me within the space of like a year or two. I don't remember how long it was. And I didn't necessarily believe them because I've never thought of myself as a grounded person. I mean, you know me, I'm not a grounded person.
No, you're not grounded.
But my energy might be to keep me from, like, I don't know, doing something stupid with it. I don't know why. But it's one of those things that I just feel like I'm too rooted. And every single time that I've tried to astrally project or anything else, I've always, even before they told me this, I've always felt too grounded in the physical to slip into the spiritual. So
now, if you were in one of my classes, I'd tell you that's just your brain translating fear so that you can understand why you're not doing something. You're trying to connect fear into something that you can recognize and put a label on so that you can deal with it.
Yeah.
See, I don't think you're too grounded. I don't think as an individual person, I don't think your energy is not heavy. When we talk, whether it's on the radio show or on Skype or whatever,
Right.
The energy that's around you is not heavy energy. People that are grounded, too grounded, they feel like they're pulling everybody else down with them like a magnet.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad pulling down. It's just everybody feels like they're weighed down. And I don't feel that around you. I mean, Sushi's
good.
been with you. Sushi, do you feel like he's weighing you down?
No.
In other ways,
Not at
maybe,
all.
but not spiritually.
No, not at all.
Yeah, see, I don't think so.
But I'm not exactly in tune with these kind of
Right.
things. So.
All right, let's do final thoughts because we need to move on to truth or tale.
I think everybody that's interested ought to give themselves a break and try some astral projection. Don't automatically assume you can't do it because you don't know what you're doing. You know a lot more than you think you do. You just have to give yourself a chance
And
to try.
don't be stupid and freak yourself out either. I mean, all these horror stories you hear about, oh, something attached to me, oh, I brought something back, oh, this happened, oh, that, probably made
Yes.
up lies or people
Yes.
freaking themselves out. It just, I know people that have been doing this for decades, and not one has told me a bad story, and the ones that I have heard were not legitimate. So,
Right.
Sushi?
Yeah. Sure, try it.
Try
You know,
it,
if it makes
but
you
don't...
if it makes you feel better, trying to be nice.
Yeah.
You're one person, I think, that could probably do it fairly easily because it's a very mechanical process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something where you need to feel subtle energies. You don't need to feel psychic gut feelings. It's a mechanical process. Follow these steps and allow yourself to do it, and I think you could do it.
All right. Well, I'll follow your link, and like I said, I've tried it in the past. I cannot get to a meditative state. That's always been a real issue with
Yeah,
me.
that's part of my problem too. Right?
So, or I have tried and tried and tried, and mostly it ends up in frustration.
Yeah.
So, I'm just happy being on this plane.
Yeah.
I got enough to do in one astral realm.
In one realm without adding another.
In one realm without adding, multiple other ones.
Yeah.
So I don't think. I mean, I just don't think it's for me. But I know, and honestly, I try to see the point. Of traveling. I'm not sure
learning,
I understand
learning,
the point of
learning and knowing that you can do it, and seeing something outside of the physical that you can believe in, and possibly seeing sides of the paranormal from a different point of view. It's about learning about yourself and about the world around you. So,
okay,
all right. So we are going to move on.
That's kind of my take on it. It's like meh.
Yeah, as usual.
The only thing I would add, very quickly, is one of the things that keeps people from being able to let go and travel is they worry about what's going to happen to their physical body while they're gone. Your physical body is protected. It's always protected. You ever had a moment, I'll give you an example. You ever had a moment when you're sleeping, your whole body jumps?
Yeah.
Sure.
That is your spiritual body out on an out-of-body experience. Your spiritual body is coming back so fast because it wants to wake you up. It comes back so fast that when it slams together with the physical body, you jump. There are people that say right after they jump, they feel frozen and they can't move because their spiritual body hasn't fully come back and merged with the physical body yet. After a minute or two, they can move.
All right.
They can lift their arm. So you're okay. Your body.
I don't have any fear like that. I never have. It's hold on. The kids have opened the door. Shut the door. Thank you.
All right. So we are going to move on to Truth or Tale. If you're not familiar with this game, it's basically where I have 3 stories that I'm going to read, and you have to decide if it's crazy enough to be true or just so stupid that I made it up. And honestly, sometimes you can't tell the difference. So number 1. Nail biters may experience fewer allergies according to a new study. Truth or Tale?
Because of the germs.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nail biters may experience fewer allergies according to a new study. Truth or Tale?
True.
Yeah, I'm going true. Also, I can, they're just now studying all these microbes and how we have such clean environment. It's been detrimental to our kids. Not in my house, but.
All right.
So I'm going true.
That is the truth.
Nice.
Well, where the heck did it go?
Well, while you look for it, I just had a conversation like this on one of the Old Farmer's Almanac posts on Facebook. I wanted to know how they posted something about germs or whatever, and I wanted to know how much humans have evolved in the last 100 to 200 years because cleaning products have gotten better each decade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We actually get sicker now than we did before cleaning products were available.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So a new study has suggested that children who bite their nails a lot may not develop as many allergies. Most people consider nail biting to be an annoying habit, but according to the results of a lengthy new study conducted in New Zealand, chewing on your nails or even sucking your thumb in your younger years can serve to reduce the likelihood of developing allergies later in your life. The findings seem to add credence to what is known as the hygiene hypothesis, which puts forward the notion that exposure to some germs as a child can help to strengthen the immune system. Allergic reactions to dust mites and household pets seem to be reduced the most. However, there were no reported improvements in the chances of developing asthma or hay fever. So I think that goes along with what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
So number 2, discovering all the different species of trees in the Amazon jungle will take 300 years. Truth or Tale? Discovering all the different species of trees in the Amazon jungle will take 300 years. Truth or Tale?
Not if we put our mind to it.
I think if we try to find it, we'll end up killing it.
Yeah,
no, I mean going through every species that is there and cataloging it will take 300 years.
I would say
for one guy, yeah.
True.
I'm going true, yeah.
All right. That is the truth. The Amazon still contains thousands of undiscovered tree species. It turns out that it will take centuries for scientists to discover all the different species of trees. Covering a region of excess of 5.5 million square kilometers, the Amazon rainforest is so large that it stretches across almost the entire width of the South American continent. During a recent audit of over 500,000 Amazon tree specimens collected by museums over the last few centuries, scientists determined that we currently know of around 11,676 different species. Discovering and documenting the remaining 4,000 or so tree species, however, many of which being a lot rarer than the ones found already, could take the better part of 300 years. And I think that's interesting that it would take that long because there are so many. There are probably things out there we've never seen.
Oh, sure.
So I think
they always say the cure for cancer is out in the Amazon rainforest somewhere.
As long as they don't go out there and kill the freaking forest
right?
And everything in it. All right. So, number 3. Identical twins gave birth at the same time. Truth or tale?
True.
Identical twins give birth at the same time. Truth or tale?
What are the odds? What are the odds? Okay, I'll go true.
All right. That is the truth. Two identical twin sisters located in 2 different U.S. cities have given birth at exactly the same time. The remarkable coincidence saw Sarah Morez give birth in Denver, Colorado, while her identical twin sister Leah Rogers was also giving birth in La Jolla, California. Both babies arrived within the space of a single minute, 1:18 a.m. on Thursday, June 30th. Both women had learned of their own pregnancies at around the same time last year, and the births had been predicted to be within 4 days of one another. The only major difference between them was that one gave birth to a boy while the other had a girl. We've always lived in separate places, but all of us, we have 2 sisters, are very close in age and very close, said Rogers. But certainly there's another connection at the twin level. I call it my twin tuition, and I knew she was pregnant too. So I think that's interesting.
Twin tuition.
So
I know some twins that died at the same time.
Oh, wow.
One of them came back, though. Her sister had some kind of ailment. She was in the hospital, and her twin was there all the time, and they told her she needed to go home. If, there's a lot been going on. She'd been there all day. She needed to go home and sleep. And she went back to her sister's house because it was a different place, so she was visiting. She went back to her sister's house with her brother-in-law, and when her sister died in the hospital at 10 p.m., the twin, which is the one that I knew, sort of collapsed on the couch, and her brother-in-law couldn't feel her pulse, couldn't tell if she was breathing, called 911, thought she had died. They came and resuscitated her and got her to the hospital, only to find out that when that happened to her, her sister had actually died.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, unfortunately, that's going to wrap it up for the Enigma Project. I'd like to thank everyone who listens. We appreciate you guys. All you guys in the chat room, you are awesome. Next week's topic is going to be on the legends of Stull Cemetery. And that's going to be interesting because allegedly there is a gateway to hell there. So that will be interesting to talk about. But join us then. I hope everyone has a great Monday, great rest of the week, and we will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.